Thank you for joining us today on Oakland Is TV. And we're joined today by Tracy Brown, Minister in Training in the Wose community. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. I want to jump right in because I'm excited to find out more about the Wose community.
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing, that's right. So tell me about Ile Omode, the school.
Okay, so Ile Omode is a school here in Oakland, and it was founded by members of the Wose community in 1986. We're a school that centers on a model of Pan-African education, and we have students who are in the grades between pre-K and 8th, and they learn all of the core curriculum as well as some additional cultural education that they receive on a regular basis.
I love it, I love it. So tell me a little bit more about the Wose community.
Wose community is a Pan-African spiritual community that was founded in 1980. So we are a Pan-African spiritual community, but our spiritual practices are grounded in Kemetic science. And our lead minister is Greg Hodge, who many people know from his work in the community. And we have been around, like I said, since 1980. We have been a fixture in the community. So when people think of cultural, spiritual practices, many people will think of Wose. We also have the honor of supporting a lot of cultural events in the community, particularly hosting the first night of Kwanzaa every year. So we do so every year, and that's been a long-standing tradition for us.
I see, I love it. So can you tell me what Ile Omode means?
Sure. Ile Omode is a Yoruba word meaning house of the children.
House of the children, I love it. So is it compared, or can you tell me about the contrast? Are you familiar with the Montessori learning?
I can't give you a comparative contrast between Montessori learning and the style of learning that we carry out at Ile Omode, because I don't know enough about Montessori learning.
I see. Okay.
But what I will tell you is that from what I understand about Montessori learning, many people turn to Montessori school because they have much more rigorous learning styles or teaching styles and higher standards for their children, and we certainly have that at Ile Omode as well. All of our children are held to very high expectations and given the tools that they need to be able to accomplish those things. The other thing that I do know about Montessori education is that there is usually a lot of creativity applied to teaching the children, and the same can certainly be said for Ile Omode. So children not only learn about how to read, how to write, and how to do sums, etc., but they also learn about their own culture. All of our classrooms are named after cultural leaders in our community, like Harriet Tubman and Marcus Garvey. Our children also learn about and celebrate their ancestors. We have an Ancestor Day, and the children come dressed as an ancestor and present about their ancestors. Our children learn about pouring libation, which is an ancient African spiritual practice that people here will know more familiarly as maybe pouring out a little liquor, so to speak. It's actually connected to an ancient African spiritual practice. So our children learn the root practice of learn about libation. They also learn to play drums, and they learn about different types of cultural expression that are indigenous to our community.
I love that. I think that's very interesting. I was trying to get a sort of a gauge for the community or the listeners who have never heard of that style of learning or the community.
Right, and we also have programs where our children are we have a partnership with Laney College, so many of our students are taking advanced algebra at Laney College. So we have 8th graders who are earning credits and taking classes at Laney.
Oh, that's wonderful. I like that. I love to hear that. So you're saying that the grades in the school are pre-K to 8.
Yes.
And about how many children attend the school?
Approximately 93 children at this time. We might have taken a couple of additional students since the last time I checked on the numbers, but about 93 students.
That's a great experience because it means they have more one-on-one.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely, and it's not just about the children, it's about the whole family, because as African people, we do things holistically. We don't chop things up in bits. So the children are not only supported, but the families are supported in bringing up their African children in a healthy manner.
So I'm curious to know, do you also have children of other ethnicities attending?
There are some children who are of mixed heritage, but our student body is 100% African.
Oh, fantastic. So again, we talked about what makes your school different from other schools, but can you share any stories or highlights about Ile Omode?
Ile, perfect.
The impact.
Very good. Well, first and foremost, having on a yearly basis 93 students in one place studying about their culture and their history and learning positive things about themselves and healthy expression means that we are going to be launching at least 93 children out of our school into the community to contribute to the greater good and the greater strength of our community. So for me, that's first and foremost. We're helping to support these children who are indeed world citizens and who will be contributing to the uplift of their own community and understanding why that's important. Additionally, our children are participating in supporting events throughout the city. So our Ile Omode students give an example of some of the really positive things that our children are doing by doing drumming performances. They perform at events like the upcoming Malcolm X Festival. They are also performing in plays, and there's a play about Sunjata that is going to be held at the, I want to say it's at the Malunga Center very soon, but they participate in those types of activities, as well as just providing a refuge for parents. We know what type of environment our children are experiencing being in right now, and it's invaluable for our children and their parents to have a place to come where they know that their children are going to be safe, where they're going to be loved, and they are going to learn, they're going to be appreciated and learn to appreciate themselves. So that is, and then those children leave, they graduate, and they go on to do greater things.
I see. I would like to hear a little bit about a couple of your success stories, some children who have gone on to be the best them.
Okay.
Can you name a few, or not their names, but what they've gone on to be?
Well, we have children who have done everything from left and become entrepreneurs, starting children who have gone on to be musicians, that have gone on to be scientists, doctors. So, much like any school, we have children that leave in and engage in a variety of activities. One child who is, or one person, excuse me, who a young lady now, she's actually probably in her 30s now, but Shanaka Hodge, she is a local personality, and we're all so proud of her. And she is an Ile Omode graduate, and she was going to Ile Omode, I believe, when the school was in a smaller, it started out as a home-based preschool. So she started at our school during at a very early stage, and she enjoyed the support of the school and the community that helped her grow into an amazing playwright and author and just an all-around spectacular woman. So
excellent. I love it. I love it. I'm sure there are a number of success.
That's just one.
That's just one of many. You have 93 more to.
Absolutely.
Right?
But we can say, our children, the children in our school, we have 100% college acceptance rate. So even, when our children leave, they're 8th graders, they all go on to
100%.
attend college. We also have become a feeder school for many of the top schools in Oakland. They noticed that our students were so exceptional in their practice and in their behavior that they came to us and said, you know, what are you guys doing?
Oh.
And we've become a feeder school for other schools.
That's excellent. That's excellent. So what's the monthly cost to attend in the school?
Average monthly cost is $700, which is very low for a private school.
Excellent. It is.
And some people say, well, that's still out of the range of certain people. The challenge, though, is that we got to pay our teachers. You know, we're an independent school, and we can't pay our teachers with wishes. So, so we keep the tuition as low as we possibly can. Mm-hmm. Our children also enjoy 2 meals and 2 snacks, and the meals are all home cooked. It's none of that strange food that you see, you know, on lunch trays, right, pre-frozen.
Vacuumed.
I mean, they're having gumbo, they're having black-eyed peas,
Okay.
they're having greens.
Am I too old to attend?
Right, exactly. Sometimes I pop over there and I'm like, oh, I just happened to come at this lunchtime.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love it. It sounds like such a nurturing environment and community.
Absolutely, but many of our students are finish answering your question. Many of our students also receive scholarships.
Really?
So we do some fundraising, and because of the generosity of people in the community, we're able to offer some scholarships to our students.
So along that line, how would we get more information about the school?
You can go to our website, which will be displayed, as I understand.
Yes.
And it is www.ileomode.org and www.wose.community.org, and there's a link to the Ile Omode website through our school's website.
Okay.
We also, and there's a donate button, so people can feel free to get more information about our school, as well as find out how they can donate.
Okay. To the website.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure. So this again is Tracy Brown, Minister in Training at the Wose community, and I've just enjoyed having you here.
Thank you. I've enjoyed being
I hope you'll
here.
come back.
I would be happy to.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the second half of our show today, and I'm joined by 2 very, very special guests. Miskitu warrior, author, and human rights activist Ursel Hindi Tawaska Florima. Yes?
Hi, thank you.
Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. And Gary Mitchell, who is the chief advisor of the Miskitu. Yes?
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us. So earlier today, we were talking about the learning and the training of the school that's offered here in Oakland. And now I want to find out a little bit more about who are the Miskitu.
Well, the Miskitu are a nation of on the Atlantic coast.
Yes.
In Central America. They're a nation of the Sumu, the Rama, the also the Garifunos.
Okay.
And then we have the Afrodescendentes and some Nicas in there.
Okay. So that's an ancient kingdom and people from Central America? Is that correct?
Yes, that's an ancient kingdom from Central America, neighboring the Nicas. I made a mistake there.
No,
sorry.
no, it's okay.
Neighboring Nicaragua and Honduras.
Okay.
We were never conquered by the Spaniards. And we were, when it was known as the Ethiopian Sea,
Okay.
we were a port that the Vikings, the Moors, the French trappers, they traded and they bred with us.
Okay.
Yeah, and the Moors as well.
Okay.
And
So, so the Miskito area, in that area, is there any relation to the white city that they claim was built 1,000 years?
yes, it is.
Ago?
It is that, as Reverend Tawaska,
Okay.
Josephine Tawaska has told me, she's not present right now. That's the place where we learned. We had math, We still do, but in the beginning we had mathematics.
Okay.
We also traded with the Mayans
Oh,
as well because
Okay.
they're right in our vicinity. And we had our own written language as well, as well as
Okay.
spoken.
oh, you have your own language.
Yes, Miskitu.
Oh, interesting. I never heard of it. I never heard of that. That's very interesting. So, I'm told that Josephine,
Josephine.
and tell me her role in.
Josephine, Reverend Josephine Handy
Reverend.
Tawaska Robertson is the matriarch of the Miskitu people.
Okay.
Her role was in 1957. She proclaimed and voided all the treaties that were made upon our people
Okay. All right.
because they were, first of all, we didn't sign the treaties. Our ancestors did not sign or give away Miskito at any time.
You did not.
No.
Okay. So, question over to Mr. Mitchell, to Gary. As a chief advisor, what role do you play in this whole
Well, my
grand
role
scheme?
has been chiefly to look at the situation, try and develop some peaceful means of settling the problem that's been ongoing since the Contra Wars. Well, actually before that, but my interest in that was that I find Colonel North really got taken in by this, by his own government, and he was. I mean, I'll be very honest. Reagan and Bush wanted to further themselves from the situation, and they caused a lot of problems for him, and condemned him. And being the good Marine that he was,
Yes.
you know, it's my country, right or wrong. And this has led to the situation for the Miskito people of them signing agreements with the United Nations and surrendering their arms, so they have no way of protecting themselves. The United Nations was supposed to take care of this,
I
but
see.
the United Nations has refused to answer anything that we've written to them, any requests that we've made, simple requests, they just ignore it as though we don't exist. And this is where I've become part of the advisory to these people and
I see.
trying to write to them and communicate and advising different ways that we might do something. We've said that we would gladly sit at the table with the United Nations and discuss this with Mr. Ortega, the Chinese government, or anybody else that is interested.
I see. I see.
But they don't take us up on it, so we're still out here trying to make people aware of our situation.
That is our biggest, I'm not sure what the word is, but our biggest project right now is to make people aware and educate people on who we are
Okay.
as a people, and to bring out our plight that has been going on since the 1830s, when our king, Charles Frederick, we had ties with the United Kingdom, the
Yes.
United States, and so forth, and he made the Anglican
Yes.
Yes. Religion a state religion, but at the same time he afforded our people religious freedom. And due to the fact that in our culture, the Dawan, which is God, is invisible.
Okay.
So the Catholic and Anglican religions
Yes.
didn't sit well with our people, and they went more towards the Moravian
Okay.
religion.
Moravian.
Yes, and by doing so, this was the turning point where the United States, the Pope, and Great Britain gave away the Miskitu territory to all the 5 republics along the coast. And ever since, we have been suffering, and they've been trying to exterminate us for our natural resources. We are a very rich nation, But it's like you said, having $1 million in the bank that we can't get to, and everybody's trying in every way to keep us from getting there. And we are asking for help to develop and to protect what is ours, that has been ours from the beginning of time. We're not asking for anything outrageous.
I see. I see. You mentioned that the area was never conquered by the Spaniards.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think led to that? Why is that important?
We were a port, and the Vikings were there. The French, like I said, the Vikings were there pre-Columbus and his brother. The Moors were there. It was a Moor that led Columbus and his brother to the Americas. Okay. Columbus didn't discover anything. We were already here, and because of the geographical area, the way, where it is.
Oh, I see.
It was a port.
I see.
But none of those people were they were trading and so forth. None of them came in like the Europeans came in and just conquered, or not conquered, but just took over.
Well, gaining the access and or the control of a port is crucial to that environment.
Right.
And I could see why you're here, you're voicing what is going on, which is a lot of people, I'm sure, we're not aware of this challenge and this struggle that you have.
I find most people are unaware. I mean, even talking to American Indians who have studied their culture are not too much aware of the problem of the Miskito people.
I see.
And some of the North American Indians have come from that culture.
Okay. So why are you here more so with us today?
We want to educate. We want people to know our plight. And there are things going on in the Miskito coast that will end up on the northern, here, in northern America,
Yes.
if we continue to be ignored. They are mining uranium in our coast and selling it to Iran. Russia is building a military base on Miskitu land, as is China building their Great Canal without even permission of the people, and we are being killed or shot at or whatever when we protest. And we don't understand why in this day and time that could still go on.
So why do you think that there's no visibility, no publication or on this plight? Why is that?
Well, I think it goes back to the United Nations and them not living up to their responsibility. It's their responsibility to defend these people when they took their weapons. They took away their defenses, and I don't think they want to advertise that fact, so they've chosen to ignore it. And the United States has kind of played a game of, let's call it, they're playing possum. They're sitting back watching what's going on, but they are the back door to the United States, and when Russia moves her missiles in there, it will be very much the same situation as Cuba. It's just moved down the coast a ways, and we have the same problem to fight over again.
I see.
How far the United States will go and sit and watch this, I don't know. But it is to our advantage to do something about it. And as a country that promotes democracy all over the world, this would be a hell of a good place to start.
I see. Tell me briefly, if you can, because we have a few more moments left, about the Sandinista.
The Sandinistas mainly were led by Daniel Ortega, and these are people that are in Nicaragua too, but they're held by a communist dictatorship. And
Whereas we are democratic. We choose to remain democratic, and as my people have sent us messages that with whatever weapons they can find, they will fight against this canal. They will fight against any more invaders into our land. But why do we need to go through that when we live in a modern so-called civilized society
Yes.
where every person is of equal value, and the only thing that separates us is our accomplishments? And why not accomplish something great rather than any further destruction of human life?
Okay. Wow. Ursel, if either one of you, Ursel or Gary, if you can let us know, you're humanitarians, and there's a humanitarian aid available for the people.
Yes.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about that as we close out today's segment?
Okay, we have 2.5 tons of humanitarian aid.
Yes.
And we need protection to make sure that the humanitarian aid is actually given to the Miskitu people, as opposed to when it gets there, it's removed and taken away from them and they get scraps.
Okay.
What we want is the humanitarian aid to get there, to get to its purpose, and to continue helping the people there, especially the children and the people, the guys that are dying from the bends because they're forced to dive, and they're crippling our men.
Okay. Alrighty. Any last words that you'd like to offer? Any information you'd like to leave for our listeners?
Well, yes. I mean, Daniel Ortega has sworn to wipe out every mosquito in that country, and
In writing.
and he is doing it by putting this canal project in, giving him an excuse to clear people out, to create starvation. And one way or another, he's bound to do this. And we need the aid and we need the support of people to come in and help us stand up.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
I use the cliche that we're not looking for a handout, we're looking for a hand up.
Excellent. I love it. So how can we find out more and follow the effort?
www.miskitu-nation.com, and you will have all the information you need there and where to donate, and just also write your Congress people.
Wonderful.
Plus the fact that there's a book for sale.
Oh, and we do have a
If you
book
wanted
for
to get all
sale.
the history of, you know.
Yeah, and it's also on the
Yeah.
site. The
Wonderful.
Book.
Okay.
How to purchase the book.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I wish we had more time to really dig down into this effort. Maybe you'll come back and join us again, okay?
I hope so.
And thank you so much.
Thank you for
having me.
being
Thank you
with
for
us.
having us. Yeah.
And again, I'm Zena Hall at Oakland Is. You can actually log into YouTube and take a look at some of the past and present episodes anytime. Otherwise, you can tune in on channel 32 on Saturdays at 11:30 a.m. Thank you. See you again.